Okay, let's start with this quote. It's quite something. The miracle is that even if one is only half successful in doing justice to the letter and spirit of Aristophanes, we still find him funny.
Hmm.
Even when, half the references, the names, the places, they just go right over our heads today.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Comedy surviving, what, 2,500 years?
Exactly. And landing punchlines even when the context is basically gone. That's what we're diving into today.
Right, because it's not just slapstick, is it? I mean, there's plenty of that, but the fact it still resonates, it points to something deeper about, well, human nature, I suppose.
Absolutely. We're looking at Aristophanes, the big name in ancient Greek old comedy.
Yeah.
And we've got the full set of his surviving plays here, 11 of them.
Everything from Knights and Knights right through to Lysistrata, Frogs, Plutus, the whole lot.
It's quite a collection. So our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is to dig into these plays, find the bits that still make you laugh or maybe make you think.
And show why they're not just museum pieces. They're still surprisingly relevant.
Totally, because Aristophanes wasn't just writing gags. He was taking aim at, well, everything. War, politics, social trends.
Philosophers, poets, the legal system.
Yeah.
Nothing was really off limits. It's all wrapped up in this, wild farcical comedy.
It's a fantastic lens on ancient Athens. So where should we start? Maybe the most obvious theme. War and peace.
Makes sense. It runs through so much of his work. Acharnians is a great example, one of the early ones. The Peloponnesian War is grinding on.
And you've got this guy, Dicaeopolis, just a regular Athenian citizen.
Right. And he's just had enough. Completely fed up with the war.
So he does something pretty radical.
He makes his own peace treaty, like a personal one, with Sparta.
Can you imagine? While Athens is still officially at war.
It's brilliant. And the way Aristophanes plays it out, the different samples of peace treaties brought back, like wine vintages.
Yeah, like this one smells of tar, that's the 5-year naval one. This one smells vinegary, that's the Allies.
It's such a clever, funny way to show the human cost and the sort of grubby reality behind these grand political deals.
And then the reaction, the chorus, these old Acharnian charcoal burners, they're hardcore patriots.
Oh, they are furious, absolutely livid that he's made peace. They want to stone him.
And that scene where he has to plead his case with his head, basically in a chopping block or a charcoal basket.
It's pure farce, but it shows the deep divisions, doesn't it? How entrenched the war mentality was for some people.
Definitely. Then you get Knights, and he's not subtle here, is he?
Not at all. This is a full-on assault. He's targeting the people he blames for prolonging the war, especially the politician Cleon.
Who is a really powerful figure, a demagogue.
Exactly. And Aristophanes represents him as this character, Paphlagon, a tanner. And who does he have to feed him?
A sausage man.
Right, a sausage man. Someone even lower status, even more vulgar, supposedly.
It's suggesting, maybe, that it takes someone equally shameless to beat a figure like Cleon at his own game.
Perhaps. Or maybe that even ordinary people can see through the political bluster. The insults they throw at each other are just legendary.
Oh, they're incredibly crude. I'll slice you into mincemeat. I'll out-sausage you. It's political mud wrestling.
And the play even breaks the fourth wall, you
Yeah.
know? The chorus talks directly to the audience about how hard it is to satirize someone like Cleon.
That's quite modern, that meta stuff. Acknowledging the risks.
It really underscores the guts it took to stage something like this. He was naming names, or near enough.
Okay, so after the attack in Knights, we get peace, which sounds nicer.
It is, yeah. Much more optimistic. You've got Trygaeus, another ordinary Athenian, a farmer this time.
And he decides he's going to Olympus.
Yeah, to rescue the goddess Peace. And how does he get there?
On a giant dung beetle.
Chuckles. Exactly. It's absurd and kind of wonderful, flying up on Beetleback Airlines.
Bringing peace down to earth, quite literally.
But even then, he faces resistance, right? From people who profit from war. Like Heracles, the oracle monger.
Ah, yes, the guy with the self-serving prophecies telling everyone war is good, actually.
Right. It's a clear contrast between the genuine desire for peace and those who benefit from conflict.
Okay, so that's war and peace. But he also tackled the Athenian system itself, didn't he? Like in Wasps.
Oh, definitely. Wasps is a fantastic satire of the Athenian love affair with lawsuits and jury duty.
You have Philocleon, this old guy who's just completely addicted. It's all he wants to do.
His name literally means lover of Cleon, which is interesting, but his obsession is the courts. He lives for jury duty.
And his son, Bdelocleon, hater of Cleon, is trying to cure him,
Yeah, he locks him up, tries everything. Eventually, he sets up a courtroom in their house.
just so his dad can judge things.
Exactly. They put the dog on trial for stealing cheese.
That's brilliant. It's funny, but it's also a sharp critique of how litigious Athens had become, maybe?
I think so. This obsession with legal battles, the power these jurors had, Aristophanes is definitely poking fun at it, maybe suggesting it's a bit unhealthy.
Right. Then there's Ecclesiazusei, the Parliament of Women. That sounds pretty radical.
Oh, it is. The premise is amazing. The women, led by Praxagora, get fed up with how the men are running things.
Understandable, perhaps.
So they disguise themselves as men, sneak into the assembly, and vote themselves into power.
Wow. And what's their plan?
Basically, communism. Everything is shared. Property, food.
Everything?
Well, yes, including partners. So there are these complicated rules about who gets to sleep with whom, prioritizing the old and less attractive citizens first.
To ensure fairness.
That seems to be the idea. It's played for laughs, obviously. Praxagora argues women are better managers because they run households.
And her husband, Blepyrus, how does he react?
He's mostly just confused, trying to figure out the new rules, especially the relationship ones. It's a hilarious look at the potential chaos of radical social change.
Is Aristophanes seriously suggesting this, or just using it to satirize utopian ideas?
That's the question, isn't it? She pushes it to such an extreme, it feels like satire, highlighting the potential absurdities.
Okay. What about intellectuals? He didn't spare them either, did he? I'm thinking Clouds.
Ah, yes. Clouds. Probably his most controversial play, even now. It's a direct attack on Socrates and the new wave of philosophy and rhetoric, the sophists.
He portrays Socrates running this school, the thinkpot.
The frontisterian, yeah. And it's full of these bizarre, useless-sounding studies, like measuring how far a flea jumps.
Why would anyone need to know that?
Exactly. And you have Strepsiades, this old farmer, deep in debt.
Right, and he wants to learn dodgy arguments to get out of paying his creditors, not exactly seeking enlightenment.
Not at all. He wants to learn the unjust argument.
Yeah.
And the play famously stages this debate between right reason, representing traditional values, and wrong reason, the clever amoral sophistry.
And wrong reason wins, doesn't it?
It does, yes. Strepsiades learns the tricks, uses them against his creditors, but then his own son uses the same logic against him.
Ah, so it backfires.
Massively. It leads to violence, breakdown of family respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite dark, actually. Aristophanes seems genuinely worried about this new thinking undermining traditional Athenian values.
It's a powerful critique, even if the portrayal of Socrates is seen as unfair by many later philosophers.
Definitely. It certainly didn't help Socrates at his trial later on, some argue.
Okay, let's shift again. What about comedy and tragedy themselves? Frogs tackles that, right?
It does, yeah. It's a fantastic play. The setup is that Athens is in decline, partly because there are no great tragic poets left. Aeschylus and Euripides are dead.
So Dionysus, the god of theater.
Decides he has to go down to the underworld to bring one of them back.
And he's portrayed as not very godlike.
Chuckles. Not really. He's kind of cowardly, a bit clueless, dressed in Hercules' lion skin, but easily scared. His slave, Xanthias, is clearly smarter.
Their journey down is full of gags.
Absolutely.
Mm.
But the core of the play is this amazing contest in the underworld between Aeschylus and Euripides.
Judging who's the better poet.
Yes. They critique each other's style, their prologues, their choral songs, their characters. It's basically literary criticism put on stage as comedy.
And Aristophanes weighs their verses on a giant scale.
He does. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It shows Aristophanes' own views on what makes good tragedy. He seems to favor Aeschylus's weightier, more traditional style over Euripides' more modern, perhaps more intellectual approach.
But it's not just about poetry, is it? There's a sense that bringing back the right poet will help save Athens.
Exactly. The play links good art, or the right kind of art, with civic health and good leadership. It's asking what kind of culture a city needs to survive and thrive.
Fascinating.
Right, Plutus or wealth? This is another allegorical one. The god of wealth, Plutus, is blind.
Meaning wealth is distributed randomly, unfairly.
Precisely. But then Cremulus, a good, honest man, manages to restore Plutus's sight.
And suddenly wealth can see who deserves it.
That's the idea. So now wealth flows to the virtuous and abandons the wicked. And naturally, chaos ensues.
What kind of chaos?
Well, you get funny situations like dishonest characters suddenly becoming poor, honest ones becoming rich. There's a great argument between Cremulus and the personification of poverty.
Poverty arguing her case.
Yeah, arguing that poverty builds character, drives innovation. things like that. But Criminalist isn't having it.
And you see examples like an old woman losing her young lover now that he doesn't need her money.
Exactly. Or the priest of Zeus complaining because no one makes sacrifices anymore now that wealth is distributing things fairly. It's a whimsical look at justice and economics.
A sort of proto-social commentary on wealth distribution.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Using comedy to explore what a just economic system might look like and its perhaps unexpected consequences.
Okay, we also need to touch on pure fantasy. Birds comes to mind.
Ah, Cloud Cuckoo Land. Yes. Birds is just wonderfully imaginative.
Two Athenians, Pisistratus and Euripides, they're fed up with Athens.
So they decide to persuade the birds to build a new city in the sky between the humans and the gods.
Cloud Cuckoo Land. Nephelokokisher.
Right. And they plan to blockade the gods, basically cut off the smoke from human sacrifices and starve them into submission.
It's incredibly ambitious and absurd.
Totally. And the city gets founded, but then they're immediately flooded with unwanted visitors from earth poets wanting to write hymns, oracle mongers, dodgy lawyers, all trying to cash in.
So it becomes a satire of city building and, well, human opportunism.
Very much so. Even in this fantasy utopia, human flaws keep creeping in. It's pure escapism on one level, but shot through with that typical Aristophanic satire.
It's just such a wild idea, building a bird kingdom in the sky.
Shows his incredible imagination.
Okay, finally, we absolutely have to talk about gender and social dynamics. Lysistrata is probably his most famous play today, wouldn't you say?
I think so, yeah. The premise is just so striking and frankly still feels bold.
The women of Greece, led by Lysistrata, decide to end the Peloponnesian War.
By going on a sex strike.
No sex until the men make peace.
Exactly. And they also occupy the Acropolis, where the state treasury is kept. So hitting them financially and personally.
Yeah. The humor comes from the men's desperation, right?
A lot of it, yes. The scenes with the men walking around in obvious discomfort and the women trying to hold firm despite their own desires.
Like Marine teasing her husband Synesis.
Oh, that scene is brilliant. Leading him on, then finding endless excuses not to follow through. It's excruciatingly funny.
And you have the choruses of old men and old women arguing and even physically fighting.
Right, it's a real battle of the sexes, highlighting the absurdity of the war by focusing on its impact on personal lives and relationships.
It's incredibly funny, often very bawdy, but the anti-war message is powerful.
Definitely. And it ends with peace being negotiated, with the help of a beautiful naked woman representing reconciliation. It's quite a statement about the power women could wield, even if indirectly.
Then there's women at the Thesmophoria. Less famous, maybe, but also about gender.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's more meta-theatrical. The women are holding their secret festival at the Thesmophoria.
And they're angry at the playwright Euripides for how he portrays women in his tragedies, always showing them as scheming or lovesick or murderous.
Right. So Euripides persuades his elderly relative, Mnesilochus, to disguise himself as a woman, infiltrate the festival, and defend him.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Chuckles. It absolutely is. Mnesilochus gets found out, and there's all sorts of chaos, including parodies of scenes from Euripides' own plays as he tries to escape.
So it's partly a send-up of Euripides.
Very much so. But it also gives a voice, albeit filtered through Aristophanes, to potential female criticisms of male playwrights. It's about representation, gender, and the world of theater itself.
It's amazing how many layers there are.
Absolutely.
So wrapping this all up, looking back across all these plays, what's the big takeaway?
Well, I mean, first off, just the sheer energy and inventiveness of the comedy. It's wild, it's rude, it's clever, it's often beautiful.
Yeah, the poetry can be stunning, even amidst the chaos.
But beyond that, it's the enduring relevance, isn't it? The way he uses comedy to grapple with these huge, timeless issues.
War, peace, political corruption, social change, how we think, how we live together.
The power dynamics between groups, between genders, it's all there.
And it really makes you think, how much has actually changed?
Exactly. The targets might be different today, the specifics have changed, but the underlying human follies and societal problems he satirized, well, they feel pretty familiar, don't they?
Depressingly so sometimes. It leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? If Aristophanes were writing today, who would he be targeting? What would Cloud Cuckoo Land look like now? Who would be the modern Cleon or Socrates in his sights?
It's a fascinating, maybe slightly scary thought experiment. He certainly wouldn't be short of material.
Not at all. So hopefully this deep dive has maybe whetted your appetite.
Yeah, hopefully people feel inspired to maybe pick up a modern translation. They really are worth reading.
Or even see if there's a production nearby. They do get staged.
They do. And you might find yourself laughing at jokes from 400 BCE.
And maybe realizing, we're still grappling with a lot of the same stuff, which is quite a realization.